Hey everyone, I'm Steve. Welcome back to Kettle Ranch. In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the winter problems we have with our tractors, especially tractors parked outside in the elements. Some of the ways you can get around that, and then also items that should have been taken care of during the fall before we even got this far into the winter. That's all coming up. Hopefully you've taken care of some of the obvious things. You want to make sure that you have the proper fuel. Not your summer fuel mix. You definitely need to have a winter blend. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. You should also have gone through, and if you have a water separator and your fuel filters, they should all be changed out in preparation for the winter temperatures. Once we have our fuel correct, we have our filters changed out, we've checked our coolant to make sure that our antifreeze is strong enough for the winter, for the temperatures you're expecting during the winter time. Then the next thing you need to think about is a block heater of some type. The oil in our big diesel engines, both in pickup trucks, in semi trucks, in tractors, no matter what size tractor, the diesel oil, that is rather thick, and the viscosity during the winter time, that'll get so thick in extreme temperatures that it's hard to even turn over the engine. So we keep a block heater on that. That helps warm up that oil and keep it so we can crank it. It also, at the same time, keeps the coolant within the block from freezing up in case we have a problem with that. It will not, though, protect your radiator and your hoses going out to the radiator and back. So it isn't a substitute for not checking that coolant and antifreeze earlier. Before we get into the block heaters themselves, I always, and I recommend it to everyone, if you're going to be parking outside or in extreme temperatures, have your vehicle parked next to a power outlet. That is so important because you're going to need to have power going to the heater, and heaven forbid, you need to do something about cranking over, help with that with either a charger or a starter. Then you can go ahead and hook that in without a lot of hassle dragging stuff out in the wintertime. What we do is I have just an extension cord off a circuit that's ground fault protected and hooks right in. This system is really neat, and off the top of my head, I am forgetting the name of it. But I'll go ahead and put it right up here. There it is. Okay, that's neat. There's links in the bottom of the description going to Amazon as usual, and showing the exact product there. Okay, this particular heater is a pad that has adhesive. You clean off the bottom of your oil pan really well, and then you stick it on there, and it stays on. It's been on there for 8 years or so. It works great. Keeps the heat right up underneath, and it is protected during the summertime, although it is a permanent, semi-permanent installation. You don't take it on and off. Pretty handy though, and it works great. Once again, the link below. All right, simple is unplugging the frozen plug, getting rid of the power, and then I just take it, the actual power cable, just tie it on, keeps it out of the way. Another style, this is a Cat's. I know that. I've had this one for a long time. I don't remember what the wattage is on this one off the top, but I will put it up there when I find out off the model number. Oh, it's a 300 watt. This one gets hot, and it's magnetic. So wherever you stick it to, you're going to get heat there. And so put it right underneath on the oil pan, stick it in there, plug it in, and you're going to be good in just a short time, depending on your temperatures. I use this on the small tractor all the time. It's what I bought it for. The other nice thing is it gives you portable heat at 300 watts if you have other items that are frozen that you need to thaw out. This does a sort of a dual purpose item for that. So here's a couple more pointers that I recommend when starting in the cold during the wintertime, or any time of the year for that matter if it's cold out. You want to be sure and use your glow plug accessory on the ignition. These aren't gasoline. They don't have the spark plug that causes a little mini explosion and then burns the gas and gets it going. They do work off compression. I'm sure most of you guys know that as far as the diesel and how it combusts. So what the glow plugs do is they heat up the block, they heat up that combustion chamber so that when the diesel mist is injected into it, it atomizes nicely and it's ready to go as far as the compression stroke to get that compression and explosion going, get it started. I run mine 3 times. If it's below 10 degrees, I'll go 3 full cycles of the glow plug on. It's usually with your ignition switch. You click it over, you'll see a little indicator on the dash, and it'll go ahead. It draws a lot of power, but you need it. Once it does start running, you want to keep it running probably for a minimum of half an hour to an hour, just to replenish. During the wintertime, you're using so much of the battery juice to get that cranked over and get the compression going. You need to keep the engine running for a while. As minimum, I usually go an hour, quite honestly, just to get it recharged so I know that battery is going to be good when I park it. Once again, parking next to external power, that's always a plus. Don't turn off your diesel out in the middle of a field if you can avoid it. You can really get stuck bad. It can get ugly. Quick note on fuel. Be aware, diesel number 2, which is what goes into a tractor this style, most tractors and light trucks. Diesel number 2 has a lot of paraffin in it. That paraffin at around 32 degrees will start to crystallize, and that becomes sort of a cloud point. And then as it gets cooler down into the, depending on the blend, if it's blended at all, or the actual fuel that you got, you can be anywhere from 15 degrees to 18 degrees. It'll start to gel. And once it starts gelling, that crystallization is forming enough to, it actually takes it from a liquid down to a gelatin. Ugh. That gelatin ends up getting into your fuel filter and clogging that up, and then you're toast. The only thing I know that works well to undo it, because I'm sort of a retail type guy, is the Power Service 911, or I believe they call it Diesel 911. I've had to use that quite a few times. If you're gelled up already, you put that in per the manufacturer's directions, and it'll actually degel or ungel your fuel. It's really handy. It works really well. I keep a bottle here in my truck. Not something to leave on your shelf, something to carry with you. If I have a problem with the tractors, I can pull it out of my truck. It can go in there. It works well. During the fall, depending on where you live, given that given latitude, in the northern hemisphere, you'll end up getting blended fuel from your distributor. So that has number 1 diesel, which is like more kerosene that's blended into it to lower that cloud point and subsequent gel point. So once you get your engine running, be sure and do the warm-up. At least 5 minutes, if not 15, depending on your temperatures. You got to get that oil lubricating, and you have to get it back to a temperature in which it's viscous enough, the proper viscosity to lubricate properly. Other things you might want to consider in extreme temperatures, if you're not getting that temperature range you want out of your tractor, placing a little bit of cardboard, a piece of cardboard, right in front of the radiator. Don't cover the whole thing, but maybe half of it, to limit that airflow. That'll make a big difference on the temperature of your engine. Just watch it, but pretty sure, I know with my equipment, when I do that, I never have a problem with it overheating. Not when it's -5 or below, definitely. And 5 degrees right now is bad enough. I don't think I'd have a problem if I had to use that choice. So I have a Dodge pickup truck, and It is a diesel, and I do use the cold weather bra this time of year. What a difference, especially here in the mountains where we're going uphill. That's not a problem keeping the engine warm, but when you're idling down the other side of a pass, not a lot of stress on the engine, it's not producing a lot of heat, you can really cool that engine down and have some problems there. Nonetheless, with your spouse or significant other, keeping the cab of the truck warm. With a bra, it'll keep it warm, which is nice. So this is going to be the final video, wow, of the year of 2021 from Kettle Haven Ranch. Thank you guys for sticking with us over the terrible summer we had. We didn't get much out there, but thanks for sticking around. Like, subscribe, share with a friend if you have one that you want to. And we hope you're enjoying this, staying safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in 2022. Take care.